What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports back to you guys with another video. And I'm here with my guy, MicroMike, here for the Detroit Lions. We're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions training camp preview for 2019. He's on to talk about the Detroit Lions, giving us some players to watch and some things to watch for the Detroit Lions in 2019 when training camp begins for them. So, MicroMike, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Really excited to talk Lions football and give you guys knowledge about what I think is going to take place.
So everybody, MicroMike, his YouTube channel will be up in the card coming shortly. So you guys can just go ahead and click on that card to go ahead and subscribe to his channel. He's part of DSA, the Detroit Sports Alliance. I'm gonna let him explain what it is so you guys can get a better grasp of it and subscribe to his channel as well and see what his channel is all about.
So the Detroit Sports Alliance is the idea of taking on the mainstream media when it comes to local sports of Detroit. So in the state of Michigan and Detroit media, locally as well as nationally, tends to give an unfair, very biased view of the Detroit Lions as well as other teams in the city of Detroit. And so what we have done is a bunch of YouTube creators came together and decided to create an idea of individuals who understand the game of football, who understand the game of other sports, and give a fact-based information to viewers of the sports fans of the Detroit Lions or any other team in Detroit to give a fair and balanced view as well as give content to what people want. A lot of times when it comes to Detroit, we don't get the mainstream view locally as well as nationally. And if we do, it's usually very biased and not factual. So the idea of Detroit Sports Alliance is a grassroots movement to put factual based content to the viewer out there across the United States as well as the state of Michigan.
All right, all right. You guys know if you guys been subscribed to my channel for a long time, you guys know I'm all about being non-biased. You guys always know I'm a diehard Steelers fan, and I always am willing to put my likeness for the Steelers aside and admit when the Steelers aren't going to be that good, and some games that we can't win, and some games that we will win, and that's what I pride my channel on. And MicroMike was actually the first Detroit YouTuber I found. I found his channel a few months ago, so I'm glad to have him on today. Going to be talking about the Detroit Lions training camp. So, MicroMike, man. So, what are some things that fans should be looking for when the Detroit Lions begin their training camp?
So the initial first thing that people should be looking for is two situations that's occurring so far in the off season, and that's the deal with Snacks Harrison as well as Darius Slay. They held out of OTAs this year because they want a new contract, and they've been threatening or at least attempting to force the Lions to give them a new contract so they will play this year. They suggested that they may hold out in camp as well as the season if they do not get a new contract. So right now, that is the number one situation when it comes to training camp and the season going forward. However, in our opinion, especially the Detroit Sports Alliance opinion, we believe it's just simply a last minute power grab and they don't have a whole lot of leg to stand on. But right now, when training camp starts, everyone's eyes is on Snacks Harrison as well as Darius Slay, how this is going to play out.
So, what are some before we get? We're going to come back to that topic a little bit later. What are some position battles to watch? Like, what are some spots on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball that could be up for grabs during training camp?
The biggest battle when it comes to the offensive side of the ball and battles that's taking place is the offensive guard position. Right now, there is no solidified starter on the left guard position of the Detroit Lions. There is a three and a four-way camp battle to who is going to get that spot. You have Wiggins, the veteran, who is a very underutilized guard who is not very well at any scheme. We also have Terrell Crosby, who he drafted last year in the fifth round. He is a tackle, but he's also vying to battle for that guard position, as well as Bo Benshaw, the rookie free agent we picked up from Wisconsin. as well as a poke guard. So right now, the biggest situation in the camp battle is who is going to take that spot because, as we know, if the offensive line does not hold up, Matthew Stafford, our franchise quarterback, is going to get hit and hurt, and it will affect our season. But if we can get that position solidified and finally have an understanding who's going to be there, our season can be predicated on that. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, I think the biggest battle that's going to be taking place is with the secondary. Now, we all believe that when it comes to the safety position, that that Walker, the safety we drafted last year, is going to be the starter as well as Diggs. However, there's been reports that it potentially could be a position battle to watch if Walker does not pan out to the ability we all believed him at, as well as the cornerback position. We believe that the first string cornerback is Darius Slay. However, again, the contract situation is hurting that. We do not have 100% sure who is going to be the number two. We believe it's going to be Rashawn Melvin. And when it comes to our cornerback, when it comes to the nickel position, we believe Coleman. But things can really take a turn, especially if the contract dispute goes past training camp and into the season, and really could cause a big shocker in how our corners look this year.
Yeah, and touching on that topic, so me, I'm always a guy. The thing I'm always interested in watching in training camp are guys who we're going to be looking forward to seeing step up in case a guy ends up sitting out. I was doing my LA Chargers training camp preview by myself, and I was interested in seeing who is going to end up being that starting halfback for the LA Chargers this season if Melvin Gordon does intend to sit out all the training camp and his sit out goes into the regular season. So who could end up being the guys who could end up being inserted into some of these roles? Like who could end up replacing who? What battle could we see when it comes to who's going to end up starting at that first cornerback position, and who could end up starting for Snacks Harrison if those guys holdouts do intend to end up going into the season?
Now, if a holdup does happen when it comes to our cornerback position, we have to look at a really big mix. We took a corner in the fifth round this year called Amani Awurie,
Hmm.
and now he is very similar to Darius Slay. However, he is a rookie. But if Slay holds out, he will probably get thrown into the mix, as well as Tease Tabor. He has made some progress in OTAs. However, he really had a hard time last year in coverage, as well as Mike Ford, who could potentially be in there as well. If Slay holds out, though, it's not going to be pretty at all. And I could definitely see us making a trade for a Patrick Peterson for the Arizona Cardinals if a holdout does occur or another player of his caliber. When it comes to Snacks Harrison, I think they would do a defensive tackle by committee. Right now, we got Trey Flowers. We got from the New England Patriots. He is a defensive end, and he could play inside as a hybrid. We also have Deshaun Hand and Ashawn Robinson. So if Harrison does hold out, I think they'll utilize those players and put them on the inside and outside, and potentially use a rookie that we got in the seventh round called PJ Johnson, and he is a very big man as well. He is 333 pounds, and he fits that build that Snacks does.
All right, all right. So, what are some players that you guys or that you are going to be watching for the Detroit Lions throughout training camp? It can be rookies, it can be veterans that need to prove themselves. Just throw some names out there.
TJ Hawkinson, the tight end that we picked up this year in the first round, is the rookie I'm really looking at. Now, the dimension that he brings on the field could really transform the Lions' offense. Our tight ends last year was just hot garbage. And with the ability of him getting drafted as well as adding Jesse James, it could really transform our offense from a more passing game to a balanced with Daryl Bevel running the ball as well as catching. Now, T.J. Hawkinson is known for catching the ball very well, but he's also a very, very talented blocking tight end. So our running game really can improve, and we can actually sustain drives. That is an individual I'm really excited to see in training camp as well as the season. Another individual that I'm really, really looking forward to seeing is Bo Benshaw, the offensive guard that we picked up in free agency as a rookie. I believe he should have been drafted at least in the fifth round. However, we got him as an unrestricted free agent, and he is the guard. That position on the guard position is the number one battle, and we want to see who can step up. Now, Bo Benshaw was ranked really well as a guard from Wisconsin, and if he can go ahead and jump into that role, again, we can actually run the football and really sustain drives, in which last year we did not do well, and our offense really took a big slump in that factor.
Yeah, those Wisconsin guards, most of the guards that come out of Wisconsin are really or end up being really solid, especially when it comes to running the ball, because Wisconsin over the last few years, they're more of a power run team. So I really like the offensive linemen that come out of Wisconsin. They end up faring pretty good. So my players that I'm interested in watch for the Detroit Lions is definitely Kerryon Johnson, because I intend of taking him in my fantasy football draft, and I might just take him first round because I really want him on my team. I'm interested in watching him because I really think he's going to be a big part of this Detroit Lions offense, and he's going to be a big part in the Detroit Lions if they end up winning the North. And I think the Detroit Lions make it to the playoffs. I think Kerryon Johnson is going to be a very, very big part of that. And also a guy that I'm interested in watching is, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but you guys drafted a linebacker out of Hawaii in the second round, and I was really, really interested in him because when I saw his stats, his production at Hawaii was off the freaking chains, man. So I watched a lot of film on him. Again, I don't want to mispronounce his name. I'm pretty sure you can help me out with that. But this dude, I really like what I saw out of him from Hawaii. And those offenses that Hawaii faced, I mean, these guys in the Mountain West Conference, a lot of people overlook it because it's not like an elite conference. It's a group of five conference, and it's not really one of the best besides Boise and Fresno State. But those Mountain West teams out there, the way they run their offenses, they really spread the ball around. So it's really interesting seeing a linebacker like him and how his production was so off the chains when most of these teams in the Mountain West just throw the ball all over the field and things like that. So what are some things with him that you see in him, and can he end up being like the next Darius Leonard? Because Darius Leonard was a guy that a lot of people didn't know about, and a lot of people just went ahead and bashed the pick, and a lot of people are bashing this pick, even though I think he's a pretty solid player. Do you think he could end up starting for the Lions this season?
Oh, absolutely. Now, our defense was fairly solid, especially when we got a Snacks Harrison. Our linebacking core got better. However, there was one hole that really affected us, and that was the ability to cover the tight end position. Now, the linebacker from Hawaii name is Tavai. He is 6'2". He's a big man. We call him the Redwood because he has the ability of size and speed to cover that tight end position and really put in a stopped for that hole that we have had on defense. He was a captain and is very well known as a positive player in the locker room. And eventually, we believe, possibly after this season, he actually could be our middle linebacker and put Davis, who currently is our linebacker on the outside, and really make the scheme explode in both the middle of the field. Tavai, a lot of people don't understand who he is because of name recognition. A lot of picks that Bob Quinn, our general manager, has made has not been on the fact of name recognition. We got Kenny Galladay in the fourth or third round, sorry, 2 years ago, and Kenny Galladay ended up being a stud wide receiver, and everyone bashed the pick when it comes to taking him. And right now, it's really panning out. All the draft picks that Bob Quinn has made when it comes to the third through the seventh round is really panning out in positive ways. And we believe Tavai could really become an impact player on defense and stop the tight ends from burning us. So that is definitely an individual I would like to see as well. And I see him starting a lot this year. Instantly, I think in week one, he's going to get snaps, and you're going to see him make a lot more plays as the year goes along as he understands the speed of the NFL. When it comes to Kerryon Johnson, Absolutely, absolutely. If you have fantasy fans out there, make sure you take Kerryon Johnson. Kerryon Johnson for us was almost averaging 6 yards a carry in our offense under KFC. Now, our offense was so bad because it was run, run, pass, punt. The defenses that we played against knew exactly what we were going to do. Even with that ability, Kerryon Johnson was hitting the hole. He's very patient. He's balanced. He holds onto the football very well, and he attacks the hole like no other. And they would pull him out of situations where, when he was making the game fire, they would pull him out for stupid, ignorant offensive scheme by KFC, our former offensive coordinator. Now, he got injured last year. However, he could have came back into the game if we weren't going to have a bad season, but they decided to rest him. So I believe he's going to have a really big season this year, get over 1,000 yards rushing for the first time since, I believe, it's Reggie Bush, and this offense is really going to take the next step.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Kerryon Johnson, when he came out of Auburn, he reminded me a lot of Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was more on the thicker side when he first came out of Michigan State, but he ended up losing a little bit of weight. And they are both patient. They're also very good catching the ball out of the backfield. So I really like Kerryon Johnson a lot. Well, everybody, this is Micro Mike. Micro Mike, I just want to thank you for coming on, giving us a little bit of your time, going through the Detroit Lions 2019 training camp, and thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure. And folks, make sure you subscribe to JT Sports. He's an individual that's doing a lot of NFL shows when it comes to every team, and he is very, very unbiased, and he brings nothing but facts.
Thank you, Micro Mike. And also, you guys make sure to check out Micro Mike's channel as well. Like I said, he was the first Detroit Lions YouTuber I found on YouTube. And if you guys know me, if it's an NFL YouTuber out there, I'm watching them. I'm subscribed to like a bunch of NFL channels. This is literally all I do is watch football all day. So, Micro Mike, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have yourself a great one.
You too.